the jolly swagman camped by a billabong under the shade of a coolabah tree. And he sang as he watched and waited till his billy was, "You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me."
Australia is a beautiful, vast and rich land, which enjoys freedom and safety. Australians enjoy a high standard of living. We are technologically advanced. We are producers of a wealth of natural resources. We have a sense of global responsibility. We have awareness of environmental sustainability, and we have a rich culture of racial diversity. This great nation of ours has been shaped by the events of history. These early English settlers did not assimilate well with the original inhabitants of the land, the Australian Aborigines. Many Aborigines were displaced from their land or died from introduced diseases. Australia was a land of primary industry and was rich in natural resources. The wool industry, farming and the gold rushes of the 1800s saw many migrants come to Australia from countries such as Ireland, China and Germany. In 1914, World War I broke out. Australia, allied with Britain, played a large role in sending troops into battle. The failed Gallipoli campaign saw many casualties, but gave rise to the Anzac tradition and helped to establish a strong national identity. The Roaring Twenties saw times of prosperity, but the Great Depression of the 1930s followed, and migration in Australia ceased. The world was once again plunged into a war. Hitler was invading nations and committing atrocities against certain people groups, particularly the Jews. In Australia, however, a very real threat loomed close to home. The Japanese had invaded China, and the fear of a home invasion led Australia to declare war on Japan in 1941. The country's fears were realised in 1942 when the Japanese bombed Darwin. The home front of Australia saw much propaganda used for recruiting, morale and production. Conscription also formed a part of the war, as did the internment of enemy aliens. These were migrants of enemy backgrounds such as Germany and Turkey. Australia also started to enjoy close relations with the USA. Following World War II, a peacekeeping group of countries known as the United Nations was formed. Based on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the UN promoted peace and freedom. In 1948, Australian Doc Everett was elected the President of the UN General Assembly. Today, Australia is part of the United Nations and contributes with foreign aid and sending peacekeeping troops to places such as East Timor. Life after World War II changed dramatically. Returned soldiers did their best to settle back to daily life, and there was a baby boom in the 1960s. Innovation and technology, which had been on the increase since the Industrial Revolution and World War I, had rapidly accelerated in World War II and since. Machinery, factories, computers, and other technologies have all been developed and play a major role in our society today. Education and healthcare have also seen major advancements.
I came out from England in the early 70s with my parents. The Australian government was offering incentives for English people moving to Australia. We were known as the £10 Poms.
Australia's involvement in the Vietnam War also changed the face of migration. The door opened to migrants of countries such as Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. Skilled migrant work programs were put in place, and projects such as the Snowy Mountains Hydroelectric Scheme specifically used migrants for work. Today, Australia also houses refugees who have fled wars, poverty, and corruption, or environmental disasters. Australia has benefited from the contributions that these people have made to our culture. The environmental movement really began to expand in the 1960s. The Green Movement continued on, and over the next few decades, Australia demonstrated environmental awareness on issues such as climate change, sustainability, and the preservation of ecosystems.